The Foundation Certificate in Business Analysis. Lesson 1. What is business analysis? Welcome to Lesson 1. In this lesson, we're going to explore what business analysis is, with topics including the origins of business analysis, the development of business analysis, the scope of business analysis work, taking a holistic approach, and the role and responsibilities of a business analyst. To understand what business analysis is, we need to consider its origins and development. Originally, developments in IT enabled organizations to create information systems that improved existing business operations and decision-making. However, as business operations have changed, the emphasis has moved on to the development of new services and products. For many years, there has been dissatisfaction with the services provided by IT, as although the technology enables the development of information systems, these often fail to meet the requirements of the business or deliver a competitive advantage. We're going to use our first course exercise to consider the reasons for the dissatisfaction with the services offered by IT to organizations, both in the public and private sector. Plan to spend 45 minutes on this exercise, and don't forget to check the suggested solution in your download documents. Firstly, find 2 examples of cases where the implementation of IT systems has resulted in delay, confusion, and inconvenience to the citizen. For example, you may be aware of a recent UK government means-tested benefit initiative. Feel free to also use your own experience if it's relevant. Then make a note of why the organization chose to implement the IT system and what the ideal outcome was. Can you offer any suggestions for improvement? When you're ready, click the Next button to move on. As you will have noticed from the previous exercise, there is a perception that all too frequently, information systems do not deliver the predicted benefits. This has led to a shift to outsourcing, often in a drive to reduce costs or due to a lack of IT expertise at senior management level. The outsourcing of work is based on the belief that a company will receive higher quality at lower cost. In theory, this approach has much to recommend it, but it can create communication issues between the business and the outsourced development team. So, to make the outsourcing model work, new roles are required within the organization, which led to the development of business analysis capabilities. A study by Feeney and Willocks, 1998, identified business systems thinking as a core element of the business analyst role, and a key skill that needs to be retained in organizations who have outsourced their development team. Additionally, 3 factors need to be present to deliver competitive advantage. 1. The needs of the business must drive the development of IT systems. 2. The implementation of an IT system must be accompanied by the necessary business changes. 3. The requirements for IT systems must be defined with rigor and accuracy. During the last few years, organizations have recognized the need for roles and skill sets that enable the successful delivery of business change initiatives. You can see a typical business change lifecycle here. Extensive analysis is required throughout the lifecycle if change is to be successful and deliver the desired benefits. In many organizations, a coherent approach to change is still awaited, and often the definition of business needs and requirements to ensure these are met are not clear. The focus is too often on the solution rather than understanding the problem. This can result in the development of changes that fail to deliver business benefits. These factors have led to the rise of the business analyst. Their role is to uncover the root causes of problems, identify the issues to be addressed, and ensure any solution will align with business needs. The majority of business analysts are employed by their organization rather than using external consultants. Cost is a key reason for this, as external consultants can be expensive. Speed is also a factor, as internal consultants will already know the business and will be able to retain the knowledge within the company. Internal consultants are knowledgeable about the business domain and are accountable for their actions. We will now consider the scope of business analysis work. You can see the definition of a business analyst on screen here. One way we can consider the business analyst role is to examine the possible range of activities. The diagram you can see on screen shows 3 areas that we might consider to be within the scope of the business analyst. Strategic analysis is usually the work of senior management, but business analysts need to have a good understanding of the strategy development process. We will explore some strategic analysis techniques and an overview of the strategic planning process in lessons 3 and 4. In some organizations, business analysts work closely with IT developers, and the specification of IT system requirements is a key part of their role. To do this, they need a detailed understanding of IT systems and how they operate. Business analysts are usually required to investigate a business system where improvements are required. They may be asked to resolve an identified or localized issue, or they may be asked to focus upon enhancing or replacing an IT system. An analyst would usually begin by gaining an understanding of the current business situation. Even when a problem is defined and a solution identified, it is rare that this turns out to be the entire problem or that the solution addresses all the issues. For any changes to succeed, the business analyst needs to consider all aspects, for example, the processes, IT systems, job roles, skills and resources that will be needed to improve the situation. An analyst may also be required to develop a business case to justify the required level of investment and consider any risks. One key element of the business case will be the identification and quantification of the business benefits. Assessing whether the predicted benefits have been delivered and taking actions that will help to deliver those benefits are further key aspects of business analysis. At a later stage, the business analyst may be required to support the implementation of the changes. This can include advising business users as they adopt new processes and procedures, or assisting in the user acceptance testing activity for an IT system. Business analysis requires the application of a holistic approach. All aspects of the operational business system need to be analyzed if all the opportunities for business improvement are to be uncovered. The diagram you can see on screen represents the aspects that are useful to consider when identifying areas for improving the business system. This model, demonstrated by the diagram on the previous screen, shows us that business analysts need to consider these 4 aspects when analyzing a business system: the process, the people, the organizational context, the technology. Click on each one to learn more about it. Remember, you need to complete each part of this lesson before you will be able to move on to Lesson 2, so make sure you review each item. The situations for process would include: are they well defined and communicated? Is there good IT support? Or are several workarounds in existence? Does the process require documents to be passed around the organization unnecessarily? Is there the potential for delays or the introduction of errors? The situations for people would include: do they have the required skills for the job? How motivated are they? Do they understand the business objectives that they need to support? The situations for the organizational context would include: is there a supportive management approach? Are jobs and responsibilities well defined? Is there effective cross-functional working? For example, situations where people from different areas of a team work together. The situations for the technology would include: do the systems support the business as required? For example, do they run efficiently? Do they provide the information needed to run the organization? For example, in terms of data being available for productivity. It is vital that the business analyst is aware of the culture of their organization and its impact on the people and working practices. Using a holistic approach will ensure that these aspects are included when analyzing a situation. Business analysis places an emphasis on improving the operation of the entire business system. Typically, these improvements will include the use of IT, but some situations may relate to staff development or other factors. The focus should be on business improvement with regard to the needs of a particular situation. Agile is a software development approach which emerged in the late 1990s as a result of approaches such as Rapid Application Development, or RAD, and the Dynamic System Development Method, or DSDM. These approaches evolved as a reaction to the linear waterfall cycle, which emphasizes completing each stage before moving on to another. The Agile philosophy is to deliver software increments early and to elaborate requirements using approaches such as prototyping. You can access the Agile Manifesto in your study guide. So, the business analyst working on an Agile project would be involved in supporting the business users in clarifying, elaborating, and prioritizing the requirements during the development process. The role of the business analyst in an Agile environment is explored further in lessons 14 and 17. The business analyst may be required to support the implementation of the business changes. One aspect of this is acceptance testing. The business analyst's involvement can include work such as developing test scenarios and working with business users as they apply the scenarios to their new process systems. The business analyst will also be required to provide extensive support in tasks such as writing procedure manuals and user guides, training business staff in the use of new process and IT systems, defining job roles and writing job descriptions, and providing ongoing support as business staff adopt new approaches. On the next screen, we will examine the roles and responsibilities of a business analyst. The roles and responsibilities of a business analyst would typically be to investigate business systems, taking a holistic view of the situation, to evaluate actions to improve the operation of a business system, to document the business requirements for the IT system support using appropriate documentation standards, and to elaborate requirements in support of the business users during evolutionary systems development. You can see the definition of the core business analyst role on screen here. In a more senior position, aspects of the business analyst role might be strategy implementation, business case production, benefits realization, specialization of IT requirements. We'll add a more detailed explanation of aspects to your study guide for this lesson, which you will need to review. The definition of the business analyst role may be expanded by considering the rationale for business analysis. This explains why business analysis is so important for organizations today, and details responsibilities that business analysts must accept. The rationale for business analysis is root causes, not systems. Business improvement, not IT change. Options, not solutions. Feasible contributing requirements, not meeting all requests. The entire business change lifecycle, not just requirements definition. Negotiation, not avoidance. You can find more details under each of these headings in your study guide for this lesson. The Business Analysis Maturity Model, or BAM, represents the development and maturity of business analysis. You can see it here. The BAM shows 3 levels of maturity. The first level is where the business analysis work is concerned with defining the requirements for an IT system improvement. The next level moves beyond specific IT development so that the analysis improves the business processes that give rise to the requirements. The third level involves improving the business and working with senior management to support the delivery of value to customers. These levels of maturity apply to 3 perspectives on business analysis. These are the individual analysis, the business analysis community within an organization, and the business analysis profession as a whole. The BAM we studied on our previous slide links to the Capability Maturity Model Integration, or CMMI. You can see it represented here. If we consider the BAM in light of the CMMI, we can see that the 5 levels of the CMMI apply at each level of the BAM. For example, a young organization may employ business analysts for requirements definition work, and here the analyst may initially have to develop their own process and standards, so they would be at the systems improvement level of the BAM and the initial level of the CMMI. A version of the CMMI developed to evaluate the maturity of business analysis practice can be seen here. You can see that this approach assesses maturity of the improvement process. A more mature organization may have analysts working at all 3 levels of the BAM. The analysts at business improvement level may have a defined process, standards, and measures, and therefore be working at the managed level of the CMMI. Business analysis has developed a great deal over the last 26 years and is often referred to as a profession. The factors that support professionalism in business analysis are qualifications. Organizations increasingly require business analysts to have these. Standards. These are techniques and documentation that are applied to carry out business analysis work. Continuing professional development. This is a recognition of the need for continual development of skills and knowledge to retain professional status. And professional bodies. These are responsible for defining technical standards and the code of conduct, promoting the profession, and carrying out remedial action where necessary. Business analysts are often expected to have the skills and knowledge of the business domain, plus the analytical skills of consultants. The challenge is for analysts to ensure that they develop the extensive toolkit of skills that will enable them to engage with business problems and assist in their resolution. The challenge for the business is to support the analyst and give them the authority to carry out the work effectively. Click on the Next button to access your end-of-lesson quiz when you're ready. The end-of-lesson quizzes are simple, multiple-choice questions to test your recall of the lesson you've completed. If you find the quiz challenging, you might need to repeat the lesson or contact your tutor with any questions. When you finish the quiz, click the Next button again to move on.